For my cultural plunge experience, I visited the Islamic Society of Orange County. Let's plunge right into it. I had a Friday afternoon tour at the local mosque, followed by their prayer service. Um, Orange Crescent is the K-8 school attached. Now let me give you a tour of the place. Here's the inside on a Sunday, not too many people. This is where I met their guest imam from Turkey. I was there on a Friday, but there's a lot of people, so I didn't want to record all of them, so I came back on a Sunday. So why the ISOC and why Friday afternoon? I was told it was their highest turnout service. It's called the Jumu'ah. It's comparable to a Sunday service for Christians. Islam had piqued my interest from books and classes, but I have no real experience with it. I do understand it's the fastest growing religion, 1.8 billion Muslims on earth, mostly in the Asia Pacific region, and it's still widely misunderstood in the Western world. So I'm hoping to gain a better understanding of this often misunderstood religion, hoping to feel the outsider perspective, and hoping to learn something, maybe some spiritual wisdom from the prayer service. So I'd studied Islam before in classes, history and religion classes, and I taught in a parochial school before, but I have no real practice in this. So let's place ourselves in the world map over here on the other side of the fence, and you can see the grounds. Over here there's a cafeteria just outside the main prayer room. Inside the door there are male men and children, and they pray separately from the women. So here are some ways I was wrong. I believed it'd be similar to Catholic Mass. Kinda, not really. I had a preconception that I should dress up formally, but I was wrong about that too. Some very casual people, track pants and slippers, t-shirts. It was very family-oriented. And I had a preconception that it'd be mostly Middle Eastern, and there were, but it didn't encapsulate the full spectrum or diversity of people who were there. So I made a stereotypical generalization. But enough about me. From the insider, the emic perspective, this was just a routine Friday prayer service. It would be normal for them to remove their shoes out of respect. So I took a picture of the shoes because I don't want to take pictures of people out of respect. It'd be normal for the men and women to pray in separate rooms. It seemed very family-oriented. That's evidenced by observing people's interactions with each other and the answers given to me from my tour guide. Further evidence of this is a food pantry outside that they have to help families that may be in crisis or just immigrated. And also Great Finds, a bargain fabric store for all your headscarf and Muslim garb needs. While I was there, I felt reluctant. Well, while I was pulling up, I felt reluctant to park too close to the entrance. I wasn't sure if there was special parking or anything, but I was welcomed and calmly greeted by the people there, so I felt better. I was introduced to some guests from Turkey, which is kind of special. They told me, "Welcome, brother. You've come to the right place." Very reassuring words. They have a bookstore, as well as a place to give your donations, and you could specify where you want to give those donations. During the service, I actually got excited hearing the parts in English that I was able to understand. It was a worthwhile lecture. I wasn't able to understand the Arabic, but I could feel the meter, the rhythm, and I could hear the rhymes because I heard it rhymed in Arabic, but I hadn't really heard it read to me, so that was pretty exciting to me. I was self-conscious about the way I was praying and not knowing the call and responses, but I felt okay in the familiarity of some things, like Amin, similar to Amen, peace be upon you, where they shake each other's hands, and then praise of moral values. So I was at ease and relaxed when I got into it. I did have some concerns about being an outsider. I didn't want to take pictures. I didn't want to disrespect the place. I didn't think I had good posture like this guy. But I kept to myself. I didn't record other people, and I just imitated those around me. How others saw me probably depended when they were looking at me. I might have looked new, strange, and very curious, or I might have looked new and confused. And I know that because people were nice to me, and they left me to myself. And some guy tapped me on the shoulder. He told me where to stand, shoulder to shoulder, and in alignment. So that was a nice redirect, very respectful. As far as neurodevelopmental construct, language was activated. Memory, people knew the call and responses. I had to pay attention. There's some kids that were not, so their parents had to redirect them. Neuromotor, the way people were praying. Spatial ordering, the way people were lined up. My key takeaways is that there's actually a lot of diversity amongst the Muslim community and a lot of solidarity and support amongst the Muslim community. They seem close-knit, very strong. Media representations are one-dimensional and reductionist, but people tend to be peaceful Religion teaches and socializes. It's the social function of religion, I believe. To inform my future educational practices, I would never assume about religious preferences, and I'd outreach to my students about how they're involved in their community, if they are at all. I'd be aware of religious discrimination among students and colleagues, and I would relentlessly work on creating a welcoming and safe classroom environment for all students, regardless of their population. And I say relentlessly work on because I don't think it's easy to just create that as much as my intentions could be to do so, but I have to continuously work on that. And then try to draw connections between people with shared characteristics through what we have similar to each other instead of drawing division through our differences. So that is the end. Peace be with you. Assalamu alaikum.